Action-oriented activism. That is what I believe we need to stand on in order for us to be globally committed through our local actions. My name is Nomtika Mjwana. I'm a 22-year-old South African. I'm part of the 42% that makes up the South African youth population, which is classified as those that are between the ages of 15 to 34 by our youth policy. And I'm someone that is very active in terms of engaging with that particular group. I'm a social activist. I am a youth advocate and I'm a peer facilitator. And in that regard, I deal mostly with issues that have to do with HIV/AIDS, health and wellness, as well as family planning issues. And one of the reasons why I decided to go into that and tap into that platform was because of the fact that I've realized that there's a strong sense of apathy amongst young people when it comes to issues that have to do with knowledge in terms of prevention strategies, in terms of, HIV/AIDS. We went around doing a lot of social dialogues and group discussions, and a lot of young people term themselves as AIDS fatigue because they think they've heard so much about issues that have to do with HIV/AIDS and any other factor that might relate to that, in which family planning strongly contributes to that. And I wanted to delve deeper and find out that what are these incubators of apathy amongst these young people. And one of the things that I found was the fact that a lot of young people are not being properly communicated to when it comes to issues of prevention and contraception and proper family planning. So we get a lot of unplanned pregnancies that come with infections, because the statistics show that from 96, the statistics have doubled up to 2012, from 14% to about 30% of pregnant women that are infected with HIV/AIDS. As much as sometimes resources may be there and maybe the information might be there, the information is not properly communicated to. So I'm someone that's very strong on the communication science that has to do with how do we actually address these messages to young people in a way that engages with them actively. So through that, I then joined the peer education program within CPUT, which is the higher education institution in South Africa that I went to. And from there, I grew myself and developed myself through research and through intense training throughout the years. And then I became a peer facilitator. And through that, we then organized different projects in different social spheres with young people. So the social dialogue, there were group discussions in residences, there was a lot of condom demonstration and distribution. So then I got to engage much more with young people, and eventually I joined a leadership network called Activate, where there is a lot of young people that are already actively involved in their communities, tackling different structural factors that add up to the holistic social illness that we sort of find in our society. So those are just young people that get together and we share innovative ideas, we have exchanges, and we actually plan and implement those activities. And through that, I realized that we only have about 1,000 of those people out of the 42% that makes up the totality of the South African population, which means that there isn't really a lot of social activism that is action oriented. So you get a lot of young people and people in general that are very much aware of these issues, that are very much aware of this is what's happening in society, this is what is happening here and there, but then you being aware does not mean you are solving the problem. What then are you doing? What steps are you taking? What local actions are you getting involved in to try and combat this overall program or problem? So through that, I started working on a couple of projects that are independent of these other projects I'm a part of. I've got my own personal written blog that is on HIV/AIDS, health and wellness. Working on a video blog that is in that regard as well. And I'm also working on a public health communication organization that is my own as well. So doing all of these different activities have made me realize that when we're dealing with issues such as family planning, and I'm always going to relate it to HIV/AIDS because it's very closely linked, we do not only deal with that factor, but we also deal with other structural factors such as accessibility, resources, and poverty. Because if you're going to be able to strongly communicate this message and tell these people that these are the contraception methods, this is what you need to do, and when they walk out the door, they can't really easily access these condoms that we're talking about. They can't really, when they go to their clinic, there isn't really these resources or these contraceptions that we've told them about. So also, what is it that we are doing to ensure that as much as we strongly communicate, but we also stress the factors that have to do with accessibility as well, so that we can ensure that the knowledge that they get, they learn, it taps into their subconscious, it registers, but then they also are able to apply it actively. And through that, I do believe that everything that I'm doing, the people that I work with, are really, really strongly working on these global commitments through our small local actions, because we look at this holistic social illness. What is it? How is this family planning factor affected politically? How is it affected socially? And how is it affected economically? And how can we tackle all of those issues at once to ensure that we do not have a gap when we're fixing the one problem and then another one comes down? So I do believe that in a way makes me the best candidate, or one of the people that are really strong on making change in their community. Thank you.